There's a scalping strategy that's never talked about, but elite traders use to print money. The trading strategy that's never talked about is one of 3 scalping strategies for beginners that I'm sharing to teach you how to trade like the best. Personally, after my $100 million trading career on Wall Street, I'm done trading my health for wealth, so I'm here to pass on my knowledge to make scalping work for you. First, what is scalping and why does it work? When done correctly, scalping is a surgical process. You identify a key emotional level, confirm with the tape, and execute without hesitation. It's a very short-term trade designed to capture a small price move, often lasting seconds or minutes. It's demanding though. There is no room for distraction, and you're interpreting real-time information and making fast, calculated decisions. The goal of scalping is to exploit micro inefficiencies in order flow, liquidity, and short-term momentum. Done effectively, you can really stack up a bunch of decent wins, and scalping is a totally viable strategy to make a trading career out of. Let me give you this example so you can picture it. An in-play stock is coiling tight against resistance at $25, but there is a large offer there. Price pushes away initially, but then it pushes up against the offer tighter and tighter. You can feel the tension and the anticipation. As the stock presses up against the large offer, boom, some buyer takes the whole offer in one shot, and everyone scrambles to buy their shares after the offer gets taken and the resistance is broken. Good scalpers are the ones either buying that offer or having a stop limit buy order just above him to buy $25.01 and $25.02, only then to kick it out, riding that momentum of traders who missed their entry and are scrambling to buy it higher. They might take their 5,000 shares they bought and they're kicking it out 10 cents higher at $25.10 and $25.12. That 10 cents on 5,000 shares makes you $500, and that is a great way to make a living if you can stack these up day to day. At a high level, scalping offers several structural advantages. Positions are held for short durations, which minimizes exposure to overnight risk, headline risk, or market correlations. The strategy also produces frequent feedback, allowing traders to evaluate their performance quickly and refine their execution. In other words, scalping allows you to get tons and tons of reps, which is why this strategy is so beginner friendly. When you get the reps, you'll develop small positive edges, which when repeated consistently can compound meaningfully over time. In fact, scalping was one of the very first strategies I ever learned myself. Another advantage of scalping is that the risk per trade is typically well defined due to tight stops and limited time exposure. Unlike with swing trading, where you are exposed to overnight risk, headline risk, and the whims of the overall market, scalping is a hyper-specific bet that a specific security is going to make a small, sharp move in your favor at a very specific moment in time. However, of course, there are cons. Scalping is highly execution dependent. Minor slippage, hesitation, or routing inefficiencies can eliminate or impair your expected value. Transaction costs matter significantly because profit targets are small relative to frequency. The strategy is also cognitively demanding, requiring sustained focus over the course of a long day. The margin for error is thin, and a single large mistake can erase many small gains. The biggest con of scalping, though, is its scalability is constrained. The more size you do, the more slippage you face, and in turn, the more your edge degrades. That is why most big-time traders, like myself, eventually transition away from scalping. Scalping is not for everyone because you tend to need to be glued to the desk during market hours. And before I cover the different scalping strategies, just remember that a scalp is structured the same way as any other professional trade. You're making a directional bet with a clear entry and exit to very specific situations of in-play stocks. Before going deeper into structure, we need to talk about the foundation of all effective scalping: in-play stocks. Same as with all trading, if you are not trading in-play names, you are handicapping yourself. To summarize what an in-play stock is, it's a stock that is a significant price range, is doing high volume, and often trading on a news catalyst or interesting technical pattern. Scalping thrives on liquidity and volatility. You need both. Random tickers with average volume and no catalyst do not provide clean intraday imbalances. They provide choppiness and will inevitably lead to paper cut losses. If I had to pick one mistake that most people make when scalping, it's that the stocks they are choosing are not in play enough. Once you identify an in-play stock, the next step is identifying a tight level. I want a very well-defined intraday support or resistance level, ideally one that aligns on multiple timeframes, something other participants clearly see as well. Ultimately, the tighter the level, the more defined your risk And that's how you can get some nice asymmetry of risk reward on these trades while also keeping up a solid win rate. Now we get to the most important skill in scalping, reading the tape. I'd say while the chart is 70% of the setup, reading the tape might be 30% or more of the analysis depending on the specific trade when it comes to scalps. You need to be paying attention to how thick or thin the bids and offers are and look for a disparity as well as which side is being more aggressive. Is the offer being taken or are the bids being smashed? The time and sales window reveals who is being more aggressive. If you are not watching the tape, which is the level 2 box of the buyers and sellers and the time and sales window, you are missing the story. There are 3 primary scalp strategies: mean reversion, continuation, and making the spread. Mean reversion scalps occur after price stretches too far too fast. You are stepping in when emotion peaks and order flow begins to shift. That shift is visible in the tape before it's obvious on the chart. On a sharp down move into support, you will often see a moment where volume stalls and it's this pause, where people stop hitting the bid. That pause is often the hesitation of sellers to push their hand and signifies a turn in momentum. As a scalper, you then take the offer and get long in front of that support level using the bids at the support as your protection, while then seeking to capture the bounce we get off that level. Often these mean reversion scalps work best when the stock quickly and sharply shoots down to a support level with some massive bids, or quickly and sharply shoots up to a resistance level with large offers. The sharper and bigger the move into really big bids or offers, the better it is to scalp a reversal. Continuation scalps, on the other hand, occur around breaks of clean support or resistance. When scalping here, you are trying to be the first market participant to enter upon the break. So if we have a $10 resistance level, you want to be buying $10.01 or $10.02 and scalping out on that emotional follow-through. Much like the example we gave earlier, your success in a continuation scalp trade will depend heavily on timing and confirmation from real-time order flow. Imagine a stock that has earnings this morning. Volume is 5 times normal. It pushes up from $48 to $50 in the first hour. Now it's consolidating under $50, a clean psychological resistance level. You see multiple pushes into that $50. The pullbacks are shallow, and each dip finds buyers higher than the previous dip. That is attention building. On the level 2 box, which is, again, the window displaying the bids and offers, you see that large offer sitting at $50. Now you watch the tape. Are the buyers aggressively lifting into that offer? Are prints going off repeatedly at $50? Is that offer refreshing, meaning it's reappearing after partial fills? Or is it getting taken? If buyers continue lifting and the offer size begins to shrink, then suddenly it's gone. You want to be the one buying at $50.01, if possible, and potentially kicking it out 10, 20, or even 30 cents higher. Often your stop loss would be right below that level if it gets back below the $50. Strong breakouts feel urgent, and you want to see the stock burst through that level with conviction. Weak breakouts drift through a level and stall. The tape slows, sellers start hitting bids just above the resistance, and that often leads to failed breaks. A continuation scalp that works well will move quickly in your favor. There's also a third type of scalp that doesn't often get addressed, and that is making the spread, especially in a liquid name. Most traders think of scalping as hitting bids and lifting offers to capture short bursts of momentum. Spread making is different. Instead of aggressively taking liquidity, you provide the liquidity. You're placing resting limit orders in spready names ahead of large bids or offers with the aim to capture the difference between the spread as other participants are crossing and hitting the bid and paying the offer. The edge here does not come from predicting direction. It comes from understanding market microstructure. When a stock is in relative equilibrium, but thin, market participants who need urgency will cross the spread. They'll pay that offer up there and hit the bid down there. In this sense, by providing that liquidity, you are acting more like a market maker than a momentum trader. To do this well, you must really understand market microstructure of order types, queue priority, and hidden versus visible orders. My trainer was incredible at this, and one of the most impressive trades I've ever seen someone make was when he made hundreds of thousands of dollars in minutes during the Facebook IPO, when there was over a $1 spread and just absolutely incredible amounts of volume going off on both sides of the market. He took such quick and aggressive advantage of that, immediately just slamming in huge bids, only to just as quickly kick his offers out and his size out a point or two higher, and repeating it again and again before that spread compressed and the stock drifted lower. Now finally, A word of caution that most YouTubers won't tell you. You do not need too many trades per day. Some scalpers are hyperactive. If it works, fine. But often you can fall for the trap of not being selective enough and your win rate suffers. Often all you need is a few high-quality opportunities where structure and order flow align. If you enjoyed this video on scalping and found value from it, consider checking out my trading course, where this year I'm going to be releasing a bunch of content going much deeper on reading the tape and various scalping case studies. You also can ask me questions during our monthly Ask Lance Anything calls as well. Plus, I offer one-on-one coaching. I'll always keep posting here for free, but if you're serious about trading and learning from me, the course may be a fit for you. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.